Welcome everyone. In today's video I wanted to talk about the launch of Vesta Finance, what it is and how to use it, and some of the opportunities that you might have whilst using Vesta Finance. So Vesta Finance is a dApp on Arbitrum. Yes, I said that right. It's on Arbitrum, which is an Ethereum layer 2. I know that my channel mostly focuses on Solana and Solana DeFi ecosystem specifically. However, I don't want to pigeonhole myself there because I strongly believe that the Ethereum layer 2 ecosystem is going to do really well this year. Layer 2 2022 is well on its way. Arbitrum is going to drop a token. It's going to do aggressive liquidity mining, and we're going to see a lot of the TVL from all of the other EVM compatible chains. So Avalanche, Polygon, Phantom, it's all going to come back to Ethereum layer 2s. So currently right now, Arbitrum doesn't have a token. They're not incentivizing people to use Arbitrum, and neither does it have cheaper fees than all of the other EVM chains. But it's currently in beta and the fees are currently being throttled. So it's going to get cheaper, it's going to get faster, and it's going to become more decentralized as well. Let's talk about Vesta. So Vesta Finance recently went live on its mainnet, I think on the 8th of February. So essentially what it is liquidity on Arbitrum. So Vesta Finance is a layer 2 first lending protocol that allows users to obtain maximum liquidity against their collateral without paying interest. So of course that sounds exactly like what Liquidity does on Ethereum layer 1. And in fact, if I go to their governance overview, contrasting Liquidity's lack of governance, Vesta will implement governance to allow users to vote on the parameters within Vesta's lending pool. As you can see here, they even cite Liquidity in their governance overview. So it's safe to say that's exactly what they're sort of aiming for. So how does it work? Well, Vesta has the VST stablecoin, so users can deposit collateral to mint VST, a USD pegged stablecoin. Multi-collateral, users can deposit ETH, REN BTC, or GOM to mint VST, and more collateral types will come soon. Low collateral ratio, so users' collateral vault is required to be collateralized at a minimum collateralization ratio much lower than that from the competition. So 110% from ETH, 110% from REN BTC, and 175% for GOM. Community-oriented tokenomics, so 50% of the governance tokens, VSTA, supply will be distributed to the community. So that's nice. So Vesta Finance, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly, it's going to be one of the cornerstones in the Arbitrum DeFi ecosystem, right? At least that's what I believe. So it has very good potential, and I think it's probably worth going ahead and using this protocol and trying to get a hold of some tokens. I mean, you can basically do it for free just by providing liquidity, but we can talk more about that in a second. So this is what the user interface looks like. So we have the ETH vault and GOM vault. So you can click on these and it will show you like exactly what's going on. So you can open a vault, you can deposit ETH and then borrow the VST stablecoin against it. So for, I think, every $100 worth of ETH you deposit, you can withdraw or you can borrow like $90 worth of VST, and then it's a lot lower amount for the GOM because like it's a lot more volatile. We also have a stability pool here, and essentially what the stability pool is, if I just go to staking, is the stability pool plays a critical role in the system's liquidation process as VST from the stability pool are used towards liquidation. Currently right now, if you deposit the VST stablecoin into the ETH pool, you're getting a 9.41% APR. This REN BTC one, it's not correct. For whatever reason, it says infinity, but you're definitely not getting an infinity APR for depositing VST. But in the GOM one, you're getting a 13.18% APR, so you're definitely getting higher gains there. We also have another component of Vesta Finance, and that's their liquidity mining. So just clicking on this, you can get like 17,000% APR on the Vesta ETH pair if you deposit your LP tokens. And you can get LP tokens for this Vesta ETH pair by, you can click here on get LP tokens, but that will bring you to Balancer. And you can get your LP tokens from here. And then if I go back on the VST Frax pool, it's quite a high APR. I don't think this number surely cannot be correct. This number feels way too high, especially for how popular Vesta Finance is and all of the whales I know who are aping in. So expect to see this number go way down by the time you actually see this video come out. So you can LP in the VST Frax pool and deposit your LP tokens here, and you can get your LP tokens from Curve Finance. So Curve Finance is also on Arbitrum. So an interesting strategy that you can do right now to get high yields on your stablecoins is to deposit ETH or GOM into any one of these vaults and then borrow the VST stablecoin against it, and then go to staking, go to liquidity mining, and then LP in the VST Frax pool, take your LP tokens here, stake them, and then you can receive VSTA tokens as a form of liquidity mining. Alternatively, you can go to staking, stability pool staking, and then stake in one of these pools, although the returns you get, I think, are going to be lower. So the token's live, and it's been live since the 4th of February. It's currently up, well, as you can see here, about 100%. So it's done really well so far, especially given the current market conditions as well, which aren't, you know, super favorable right now. As you can see, most of your tokens are down like 50% or more from their all-time highs, whereas Vesta Finance has done extremely well indeed. So I think the sort of theory behind this is that it would trade similar to Liquidity and their governance token. However, they're actually doing a few different things, right? They're incorporating different tokenomics, so I would expect it to actually move differently. If we just take a look at the price of Liquidity over time, although this is one of like the major DeFi protocols out there, if we just take a look, the price has just been down only over time because there's just not much reason to hold the Liquidity governance token, right? Because there's not much governance features and you're not really getting much out of it. So it's down 98% since its all-time high, and you'd be hard pressed to find someone who's made money holding this over time, right? But the Vesta Finance token is definitely going to be different. So as you can see here, users will be able to vote on parameters such as interest rates, minting fee rates, and new collateral types. So I'm quite excited about this. This is quite interesting, as Vesta Finance is one of the, I'm going to say, pioneers of the DeFi ecosystem on Arbitrum. I think they're going to be working on some really cool stuff. So they're exploring and prototyping the following 6 features. So permissionless debt offering for VST, dynamic liquidation ratios, interest rate modules, vote escrowed Vesta, ZK rollup implementation, and VST integration plus adoption. So let's take a look at this. Permissionless debt. So under this model, anyone will be able to create pools and mint VST. We will work with DAOs on Arbitrum and beyond to grant users capital efficiency of their governance tokens. So it will use Uniswap v3 oracles and algorithmic risk rating systems. So do you know what this sounds like? This sounds like Rari Capital's Fuse. But instead of borrowing a stablecoin, you get to mint a stablecoin against your position. And then vote escrowed Vesta. So long-term alignment between the community and protocol is something core to our vision for what's best for Vesta. We are creating governance rights and Vesta protocol benefits that incentivize power users to lock the Vesta token in a vote escrowed form. So this is going to be similar to what we see with Curve Finance. I mean, they have their VCurve tokens. So one thing notable about Vesta Finance is that they've got a bunch of like notable DeFi whales on board. So if you're familiar with Tetranode, he's like, you know, a prolific Ethereum investor and very active in DeFi. So he's quite notable. He's putting his backing behind Vesta Finance. So usually that gives you an indication of a quality project. Not to say that you should go ahead and copy trade him and buy the token. So if you haven't already set yourself up on Arbitrum, you can easily bridge there from a centralized exchange such as FTX US or Binance. Additionally, you can bridge there through various different bridges. I like Life Finance because basically they aggregate all the bridges and tell you which one's the cheapest to go through. So going from Avalanche to Arbitrum, it seems as if the multi-chain bridge here is the cheapest, and it costs you $1.06. But you can go from any of the EVM chains, and if you are, you know, currently sitting on a non-EVM chain such as Solana, you can easily bridge yourself from like Solana to Polygon or Solana to Avalanche, and then go from Avalanche to Arbitrum. Now, you may have heard that withdrawing from Arbitrum may take like 7 days and you don't want to deal with that. However, you do have projects out there like Hop Protocol which allow for instant withdrawals from Arbitrum, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure to subscribe for more videos like this one.